All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. So this is a combo lesson for us. In our books, lesson 2.2 is actually single-step equations. It's really super simple. So we kind of merged that with 2.3, which is multi-step. We'll be doing a lot of stuff in this in class. The notes look different because this is the actual notes. I don't have the PowerPoint set up like I usually do. So as we go through it in class, I believe what we're going to do is I'm going to concentrate, I'll pick and choose and make you guys work on some of these as well, just so you get a feel. So remember, what we're trying to do is solve for a variable, okay? So my goal for you guys is to understand two things. First, never touch the variable, okay, unless there is a variable on both sides, okay? And the variables, ladies and gentlemen, are the letters, okay? You don't touch it unless there are one on each side of the equal signs. What you do to one side of the equal sign, you do the other. The way I teach this is kind of simple, where you guys remember, hopefully, going up in high school or in elementary school, when you would do math, you would go 4 plus 4 equals 8. Okay, you guys would go 6 minus 2 equals 4. Okay, this is how you would do math, all right? The concept needs to be the same when we're solving linear equations, okay? And so these are one steps. So this is what I mean. I want you to start by drawing a line down the equals, because equals means this side is 10, this side is x plus 5, and you don't want to touch the variable. So what is the opposite of addition? It is in fact subtraction. So we're going to subtract 5 because we want to get rid of this 5 and bring it over here. You do one thing to one side, you do it to the other, and then you make an old school addition or subtraction problem, okay? Then you solve. So nothing changes, so you drop this x down. 5 minus 5 is 0. Now, if you want to put plus 0, you can. And then 10 minus 5, of course, is 5. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you drop it down one more time. X equals 5. That's it. Simple enough. Over here, split it in half. Okay? Then, ladies and gentlemen, what do you need to do? You are now going to be, this is not a minus 8. Remember, we had talked about this I talked to some of the students. This is now a negative 8. So how do you move this 8 to the other side is by adding, okay? So your next step, this is going to be y. That is 0, so they cancel each other out. And then this is 4 plus 8, which is 12. So my answer is y equals 12. Do 3 and 4, please. All right, 3 and 4, relatively simple, the same thing. All right, make sure as you guys walk through this process, all right, that you simplify this up. Draw a line down the middle. Okay, we're not touching the a, we're moving the 4, negative 4, a, and then 11 minus 4. Remember, if you spend money in a bank account, okay, this is going to be you spend 11, you go spend 4. How much have you spent? 15. A equals negative 15. All right, this one over here, same setup. Split it in half, okay? This time I'm going to add 11 to this side, add 11 to this side. So it's going to be 20 and b. And so technically speaking, you could leave it as 20 equals b, or you could rewrite it to b equals 20. Doesn't matter. Whoops. It doesn't matter. They are both the same. Okay, these two things are the same answer. Don't be afraid. Now that's adding and subtracting. Simple enough. Now what you guys need to understand is what is the opposite of multiplication and division. Okay, so one thing I want to make sure is you guys understand on here, all right, is that this, ladies and gentlemen, is 2x, negative 2x equals negative 12. How do I isolate this? This is multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is, in fact, what? Division. So you're going to divide this by 2, but not just any 2, negative. Whenever you see a negative in front of any variable, ladies and gentlemen, take the negativity with you, okay? Don't leave negativity behind in this case. Take it with you. Divide both sides by negative 2. This cancels out because negative 2 divided by negative 2 is actually just x equals negative and negative is positive. 12 divided by 2 is this one over here, all right? That one we'll cover. I'll let you guys do that one in a second. This one here, okay? This is a fraction. One thing you guys need to understand, a fraction is also division, okay? 1/2 is basically saying you're 1, you take something that is a value of 2 and you divide it in half to get 1/2, okay? This is the same way, so what I want you guys to do is get rid of this -3rd, and how you would do it is, I'm going to write it over here real quick, be w over -3. Well, what number could you multiply this side by, okay, in order to get this -3 to get rid of? It would be -3 over 1. All right, so you cross multiply in this case, and as you cross multiply, -3's would cancel out, and you'd be left with what? W. So that's what you want to do. Multiply this side by -3, multiply this side by -3, you'd end up with W, because it canceled out, equals, negative and a negative is positive, 18, so W equals 18. I want you to try this next. 6 and 8. All right, don't touch the variable. We're going to divide both sides by 3 and then solve it. Can you simplify that, ladies and gentlemen? The answer is no, you cannot. So you get y equals -8 over 3. Technically speaking, it would be -8 over 3 equals y like this, but I always like to rewrite it with my exponents on the left if possible. Same with here. This is a fraction, so we're going to multiply by 8 over 1. Multiply this by 8, because you know this is over 1 and that's over 1. Technically speaking, if you look at that, so these cross multiply out. The n equals -3 times 8, -24. That is multiplication division. Your homework is going to have a lot more of these, okay? So 2.2 homework is just single step. It's going to be like 10 of those, relatively simple. I might make it 12, so I can do 3 addition, 3 subtraction, 3 multiplication, 3 division. Make sure you guys do the single steps. Move on and get it through. Here's 2 steps. Same thing applies, okay? I'm going to do this first one here. You guys do the second one. Matter of fact, I'm going to do the harder one. Okay, so here is your steps, okay? Split it in half. Don't touch the variable. First, let's add 5, because you want to get rid of everything around the variable first. So we're going to add 5 to both sides, okay? And when we do, we get, this cancels out. You get -b, and then that is 18. But we have a negative behind, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is actually going to be, you can either divide or multiply, because it doesn't matter in this case, by a -1. If you multiply both sides by a -1, these negative times a negative is a positive, and it's still b equals -18. The other thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, is if you ever get to this, just switch the signs. Okay, if you get a negative exponent, switch the signs. You guys try this one. Remember, start here, split it in half, move something first. All right. What you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is move the 4 first. Okay? Once you move the 4 over, then this is going to be 2x. That's 0, so I don't care. 10 minus 4 is 6. Then your next step, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be 2 divided by 2, because that's multiplication, opposite is division. X equals 3. Okay? Pretty simple setup. Make sure you guys understand. All right, next is going to be an equation involving a fraction. Okay? On this one here, first step, okay? I'll do 3, you guys are going to do 4. We're going to not touch the a, but we want to get rid of the hanger-oners, okay? If there's something hanging on to it, like a +4 in this instance, move that first. So if this is a +4, opposite of addition is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides, and then you get a divided by 2 over here, and then -8 and a -4. You spend 8, you spend 4, you've spent 12. And then the next step, ladies and gentlemen, is you have a fraction. So you need to multiply both sides by 2 over 1. Multiply by 2 over 1. These cancel out, so you're left with a equals -24. Solve 4 first. Get rid of the fraction first. All right, hopefully as you guys pause the video and go from there, make sure you get rid of the fraction first. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. Because if I do that, then, ladies and gentlemen, this becomes negative 30. And then these cancel out. So it's going to be y plus 4. Then you do your simple substitution aspect. Divide it in half. Negative 4, negative 4. So this is going to be negative 34 and y. So y equals negative 34. As we go along, if you struggle with this, please come see me. Okay? There's a big aspect of making sure. Now, I would try to solve this in 3 steps, but I'm just going to show you guys how to do the distribution because some of you suffer with the distribution aspect of it. And then we'll go from there. All right, so first things first is let's just do the distribution. Negative 2 into here and then into there. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Then this, ladies and gentlemen, would be negative 2 times 5, which is minus 10 equals 10. Okay, next step would be to got to keep the x there, you can't touch it, so you get rid of everything around it. So this is going to be plus 10, add it together. So that's a 0, negative 2x, that's 20. Then you divide because that's multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division. Minus 2, minus 2. So the x is now, remember, because negative 2 over negative 2 is what number? It's 1. So understand the x's cancel out. You got x equals negative 10. Put that in the calculator if you can't do that in your head, please. Last one, ladies and gentlemen, on this example for right now. Do this in your head. Distribute first, and then solve. All right, on the distribution, it's backwards, but it should be fine. Multiply the 3's in. So this would be negative 9 equals 3y minus, because that's what we have here, 12. Okay, now you need to get rid of the hanger-ons first. So we're going to get rid of the plus 12, and divide it in half. Give me an equation. That's 0. This is 3y, negative 9 and 12. So if I have $12 in my hand, I go spend 9. I have $3 left. Then you want to get rid of the 3, so you divide by 3. Divide by 3, y equals 1. Once again, the homework is going to be more multi-step equations. You're going to have to do it by hand on paper, and then you're going to submit the answer to me, okay? I'm looking to make sure you guys can do this on a regular basis, all right? Last couple things here. Susan had a $10 coupon for the purchase of any item, okay? So she's got a $10 coupon. Everybody knows $10 actually is a what number? Negative, especially when it's a coupon, because you're taking $10 off. All right, she bought a coat that was half the original price. After using the coupon, she paid $125. What was the original price of the jacket? So let's try it. So we have half of the original price minus 10 because you have a coupon, and it equals 125. Now you solve for x, okay? This is going to be plus 10, and then what you do, ladies and gentlemen, is it'd be 1/2 x, because you're splitting this up, and that would be 135, okay? And then as you go from there, if you have 1/2 here, what do you need to do? You got to get rid of this fraction, so you got to multiply both sides by 2 over 1, which in this case, this cancels out, and you have x equals 135 times 2. Put it in the calculator if you want. 270. Okay, so the original coat price was $270. Len read 3/4 of a graphic novel over the weekend. Monday, he read 22 more pages. If he read 220, how many has he done? You guys try this one. All right, last one for me for the day. 3/4 x, because we don't know how many pages he read of a graphic novel. Monday, he read 22 more pages. If he read 220 pages, how many does it actually have in the book? Do your math. Negative 22. Split this in half. Negative 22. You go over like this, and then, ladies and gentlemen, you'd have 3/4 x, and then this is going to be 198, I believe. Yes, it is, because 20 and then 2 left is 198. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me get a calculator. because I'm about to do some bigger math here. So this one's more of a multi-step equation. So on this, the next piece would be to multiply both sides by 4, multiply by 4, multiply by 4. So then you cancel out the bottoms. You'd have 3x equals, and then I got to put in the calculator, 198 times 4. That comes out to be 792. This is multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is, of course, divide. So 792 divided by 3 is x equals 264. So ladies and gentlemen, his original book had 264 pages. All right, that's it. It's a short lesson. In class, I'm giving tons of time to work on ALEKS homework. It's going to be 2.2, which is single steps, and 2.3, which is multi-steps. Work on both. Work your magic. Write the stuff down if you need to. Come find me in class, okay? My goal is to blow through this lesson quickly in class, so that way we can get going on the homework immediately to see where you struggle. If you have anything and you need extra tutoring, because we're going to hit a quiz next week on Wednesday the 14th of August, come see me. It's very important that you do. In the meantime, have a great day. If you're watching this on Friday into the weekend, have a good weekend, and I will see you soon.